Christopher Luxon is no John Key, and he's going to have to learn how to straddle the centre, Duncan Garner writes this week. And Duncan, he's still getting his feet under the table, isn't he, really?
He is, but that's why it was so important for him to get to the National Party Conference and to perhaps meet people for the first time he hasn't met, the party faithful who do, I don't know if he knows this, but do all the hard work. They're out there putting out signs and brochures and do all the hard work, raise money, do the little things that make a party, to be Labour so strong. So he's really having a second chance at introducing himself to not just the public but to his people, the people he's going to rely on. And he's always going to be welcomed as a hero there because that's where the key messaging must be right. You should get a roller coaster ride there easy. You should just cruise on through at these conferences because those are your people. Those are your party faithful. But I still question his accuracy and his ability to get it right all the time. I mean, Key was not perfect and made plenty of gaffes, but I just think Luxon's a lot looser. Yeah.
Well, and also, as you point out, the Nats have got this difficult task of being centrist, but at the same time straddling some pretty important issues. Like, the Māori Party may end up holding the balance of power, for example. How do they navigate that?
Well, they first of all look at history and what John Key did, and he invited them in as an insurance policy. So he's still got that up. National, you'd think might have that up their sleeve, but that card's been played. So National needs to be careful here that it doesn't alienate itself. I don't think people want a race war. This co-governance thing has crept up on some people, and some people don't like it. National has to. It's a very tricky line for Luxon because yes, he wants votes out of it, so he might want to, do a bit of dog whistle politics. But at the same time, you don't want to alienate the Māori Party so much so with the attitude that they don't want to do business with you, because then you push them into the hands of Labour. You want them to at least be an option, and don't isolate them across with Labour, because that's another 2-3 votes significantly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is we really need to see some points of difference from this
Certainly.
National Party. We haven't seen it yet, have we?
No, and what we see with the policy over the weekend is so cliched. We've seen this for 30 years, as journalists covering this party. It's tax cuts, and I'm not sure now is the time for tax cuts, I don't know. You've got cutting spending, and then you have hit the beneficiary, and it's sort of the same old. National needs, I would have thought maybe, they could get their policy stolen, so they need to be a bit careful, but something more creative, something that excites the electorate rather than the same. This is all the same old stuff we've seen. It's just, I find it boring.
Yeah, and the big bogeyman, of course, is the housing crisis. What do they do about that?
Well, they haven't got a good track record, as you know. They denied it. They wouldn't even use the word crisis. They were a party that said the market will sort this out. And the market's never going to sort out emergency housing and low-cost housing and public housing. That's for government and agencies to sort out. So National, the public knows what the record is on housing. So they need to take a different approach and be quite upfront about it too.
Is Luxon the man for the job, do you believe?
Yeah, I think he is. I mean, if you look around the party, Nicola Willis is very ambitious. Very ambitious. Be careful, Christopher. So she's knocking on the door, but that's when she wants it, I suppose. He's the man for the job. And they appear to be loyal and have got him behind him. I just think that he just makes up policy and sticks to it, then he backtracks, and I think the public's smart. The public's much smarter than these politicians ever give them credit for. So he just needs to tighten things up. But there's time for that. I'm not going to write him off. No.
He's only got a year.
Yeah, well, a year's a long time in politics. A year might seem a lifetime to him at the moment. But you don't want it too long where you can make total gaffes, but you want it long enough to get some runway, and I think it's about right. Yeah, I mean, he's been chucked on the job sooner than he wanted, but that's just the nature of politics. Sink or swim, he's got to swim.
Duncan Garner, thanks for coming in.
You're very welcome.